Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News, where in the next 30 minutes, I, Tracy Shilshi, will take you through the day's top developing stories. Let's start with the headlines. Attack on Domana camp in Jammu foiled earlier today. One terrorist is killed in the ongoing operation at Karanagar CRPF camp in Srinagar. Army casualties in Sunjwan camp attack in Jammu rises to 6. Tripura Chief Minister Manik Sarkar says his government is not facing anti-incumbency. In an exclusive interview to Rajya Sabha TV, says he will come back to power for a record 6th straight time. BJP's Yogi Adityanath questions law and order situation in the state during campaigning, while Congress says its electoral fortunes will revive in Tripura. Over 100 beneficiaries of the government's LPG scheme share their experience at the LPG Panchayat held at Rashtrapati Bhavan. President stresses on the need to spread more awareness about the flagship Ujjwala Yojana. Over 3 crore people have benefited from the scheme so far. Hailstorms in Vidarbha and Marathwada regions in Maharashtra killed 4 people. Over 1.25 lakh hectares of crops are damaged in 11 districts. Meanwhile, snowfall in Jammu, Himachal and Uttarakhand bring down temperatures in North India. More snow predicted in next 24 hours. And India eyes series win against South Africa in the 5th one-day international at Port Elizabeth. Men in blue lead the series 3-1, but rain could play spoil sport, while the women's team to play South Africa in the first T20 match. Security forces have launched a massive search operation after army personnel foiled a suspected terrorist attack on their camp in Jammu earlier today. According to reports, 2 motorcycle-borne terrorists are believed to have approached the main gate of the camp at Domana on the Jammu-Akhnur road. The terrorists opened fire on the sentry post after security officials signaled them to stop, which prompted retaliation from the security forces. Search operation is underway to track down the fleeing terrorists. An alert has also been sounded in the area. Meanwhile, the body of another soldier was recovered from the encounter site inside the Sunjwan military camp today, taking the death toll in the terror attack to 10, including 6 army personnel and 3 terrorists of the Jaish-e-Mohammed. On Monday, Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that Pakistan will have to pay for its misadventure of carrying out the attack. Sitharaman was in Jammu to review the security situation and said that evidence against terrorists have been compiled and given to Pakistan. Sitharaman was briefed about the situation by the senior army officers. She also met Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti and discussed the situation. She later visited the hospital and met the injured in Saturday's attack. The Defence Minister also said that Pakistan was resorting to ceasefire violations to assist infiltration. However, she said that infiltration across the LOC had reduced due to deployment of anti-infiltration obstacle system and a dynamic multi-layered counter-infiltration grid.
Giving the evidences to Pakistan will have to be a continuous process, because it has to be proven over and over and again, as many number of times, that their involvement is there for everybody to see it. And the evidences will only strengthen that argument. So giving that does not deny us our right to respond adequately and at a time which we think fit. Pakistan will pay for this misadventure.
The wreath-laying ceremony of the 4 slain soldiers in the Sunjwan attack was held today at Jammu. Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti attended the ceremony. Deputy Chief Minister Nirmal Singh was also present there. The soldiers lost their lives when militants launched a daring attack on the Sunjwan camp on Saturday. And 1 terrorist has been eliminated in the exchange of fire that is underway at the CRPF camp in Srinagar's Karanagar area. Forces have been battling terrorists holed up there since Monday. On Monday, a CRPF Jawan was martyred and a J&K policeman sustained grievous injuries during the operation. The fight broke out on Monday morning with 2 terrorists believed to be of the Lashkar-e-Toiba cadres holed up engaged in the gunfight. Security officials said that terrorists, apparently suicide attackers carrying backpacks and armed with AK-47 rifles, tried to approach the CRPF camp in the area. Their apparent attempt to storm the camp was repulsed.
The operation is in the advanced stage, and the parties are we are doing in the final stage. It is in the final stage. Okay. So once we get the further details, we'll update you. No, it's a built-up accommodation and it's an under construction building, and we have been successful in localizing them, and we are also successful in trying to do a deliberate assault. So as you know, deliberate assault will take some time, so it needs planning. That we have followed, and we are expecting it to over very soon.
Meanwhile, the National Investigation Agency, or the NIA, has taken over the probe into Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorist Mohammad Naveed Jat's escape from a Srinagar hospital on the 6th of February. The terrorist escaped when he was brought to the hospital for treatment. An FIR was registered by the local police at Karanagar in Srinagar district. In this incident, 2 police personnel were killed. Jat, the 22-year-old LET militant from Pakistan, who was caught in Kulgam in South Kashmir in 2014, escaped with the assailants after the attack. And Home Minister Rajnath Singh on Monday reviewed the security situation in Jammu and Kashmir, where 2 terror attacks in the last 3 days have left 9 persons dead, including 5 army men. During an hour-long meeting with top officials, the Home Minister was given a detailed presentation about the situation in the state, particularly an attack on an army camp in Jammu and a gunfight between security forces and militants in Srinagar. Rajnath Singh was also told that the highest level of security has been put in place for the entire state and steps were being taken to foil attempts by terrorists. The Home Minister directed officials that action must be taken to check infiltration attempts from across the border. Union Home Secretary Rajiv Gauba and Director of the Intelligence Bureau Rajiv Jain also attended the meeting. Jammu and Kashmir Governor N.N. Vora had earlier briefed the Home Minister about the prevailing situation in the troubled state. And in fact, in news just coming in, the second terrorist holdup at the Karanagar CRPF camp in Srinagar has also been eliminated. The operation there, remember, has been on since Monday. We'll continue tracking developments on that front. Meanwhile, let's head on to more national news. And President Ramnath Kovind met over 100 beneficiaries of the government's Ujjwala Yojana that has brought LPG connections to several homes. Over 100 beneficiaries of the government's flagship scheme, the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, from 20 states shared their experiences of how the clean cooking fuel has changed their lives at a function held at Rashtrapati Bhavan today. So far, more than 3 crore LPG consumers across 712 districts have benefited under the scheme. The LPG Panchayat, which was launched in September in Gandhinagar, is aimed at driving rural households to adopt LPG. The government plans to conduct 1 lakh LPG Panchayats across the country, dealing with the issue of safe use of LPG as well as its various benefits such as environment, health and how it empowers women.
आज जरूरत है कि एलपीजी की सुविधा का उपयोग करने वाली महिलाएं आपस में मिलें, बैठें, बात करें, अपना अनुभव बांटें, सलाह मशवरा करें। इसी तरह से उज्ज्वला योजना के बारे में जो जागरूकता है उसका प्रचार और प्रसार हो रहा है।
सरकार के लिए सामाजिक न्याय एक स्लोगान नहीं है, ये करने वाला काम है। निधि ने अभी कहा कि हमारे एक उज्ज्वला परिवार बना है। ये एक सरकारी कार्यक्रम सहज बचा नहीं है, ये एक जन आंदोलन की रूप ले चुका है, जन भागीदारी का रूप ले चुका है।
Now, days after the agriculture sector got a big push in Budget 2018-19, Niti Aayog member Professor Ramesh Chand told Rajya Sabha TV that Prime Minister Modi will meet all the stakeholders on the 19th and 20th of February to refocus the government's policies in line with the NDA government's vision of doubling farmers' income. In an exclusive interview to Neelu Vyas on RSTV's To The Point program, Ramesh Chand, who is also known as the man behind policy making on agrarian economics, said that the centre will elicit views from different states on devising the formula on the minimum support prices on the 1st of March.
Narendra Modi announced that the farmers' income should be doubled by 2022. Soon a committee was formed on the DFI, that is doubling the farmers' income. How much work has really progressed since then? Are you contented with the pace of work which has taken place so far?
You see, there are two aspects. First is that we should have a roadmap. That committee, Ashok Dalwai and those people who worked with me on farmer income issues in academics, so they were all involved. They worked at length how much capital formation, what kind of changes in technology, what kind of changes in market, value addition. They looked at all those things. Now that has been prepared. Now there is an urgent need to bring it on the ground. So maybe we will take it up later on 19-20th February. Prime Minister asked Ministry of Agriculture and to me to discuss this thing with all the stakeholders.
A few states like Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Telangana, who've rolled out their own price differential schemes. But from the central level, I mean, is the central government thinking of such price deficiency payments at an all India level? Because there is no clarity on this kind of a proposal in the budget.
We have already planned with Ministry of Agriculture to call meeting of all the states on 1st of March. So we are working fast on this. So we will take views of the states. We will put before them, these are the options available. So what kind of option you would like to avail?
Well, you can watch the entire interview on RSTV's flagship program, To The Point, on Wednesday at 10 p.m. With that, a quick break here. We'll be back with election-related news in a bit.
Hello and welcome to the National Elections Quiz 2018. With which Indian state would you associate Red Panda, Mrig Babu and Votuda as mascots?
As the final nears, the competition gets tougher.
And that is the right answer. Very well done. Let's continue with the quiz. What is this new method of monitoring elections?
Watch out for the third semi-final of the National Election Quiz 2018.
What is your answer?
Online.
10 points to the team from Daman and Diu. Very well done.
Presented to you by the Election Commission of India, Saturday at 5 p.m. only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Tripura Chief Minister Manik Sarkar has said that his government is not facing 25 years of anti-incumbency. In an exclusive interview to Rajya Sabha TV, he said that his government will come back to power in the state for a 6th straight time, breaking Jyoti Basu's record. The Chief Minister also speaks about the challenge posed by a resurgent BJP in the state.
Joining me is the Chief Minister of Tripura, Mr. Manik Sarkar. Welcome to Rajya Sabha Television, sir. More than 2 decades of left front rule in Tripura, but many say that the left is facing its toughest battle in 2018. Would you concede?
No, every election is always a tough battle because it is nothing but, according to us, a higher form of political struggle. So political struggle, and if it is in higher form, naturally it will be tight, tough, so nothing new in it.
BJP has expanded its footprint in Northeast and it has emerged as the main challenger here in Tripura as well.
BJP, they are growing at the cost of a section of opportunistic earlier Congress leaders. They have their followers. All followers have not followed to them. A section of them, they are following them. And accordingly, with this supporting base, BJP is now actually moving around. BJP has not yet been able to develop their ideological and political base here. This is our estimation and understanding.
And how do you look at BJP's alliance with the IPFT?
This is nothing but an unholy, opportunistic alliance. This is very bad. BJP is a national political party. They are running the show from Delhi. They have been claiming that they are the nationalist political party. They are the defender, only defender, champion for the unity, integrity of the country. This IPFT, this organization has been created none other than by NLFT, the unlawful organization that has been declared by the government of India. They have their camps in Bangladesh. So they have extended their support even in this election to IPFT. Knowing all these things, how party like BJP aligning with them, the people are asking this question now.
But sir, your party is also fighting anti-incumbency here in Tripura.
Absolutely not, because the left-front government, since its inception, has not yet taken any such stand which goes against the interest of the common people of our state, and also has not taken any such stand which goes against the progress and development of the state. Thereby, people, they have voiced this slogan, that this time they have voiced this slogan, left-front government shall have to be constituted for 8th term with more vote, more seats.
Right. Thank you so much for talking to us. So Mr. Manik Sarkar is absolutely confident that he will retain power yet again in Tripura. From Agartala, with camera person Jitendra, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
Meanwhile, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, who is on a campaign trail in Tripura, questioned the law and order situation in the state. He said that while law and order is in control in UP, women in Tripura are unsafe.
उत्तर प्रदेश देश का सबसे बड़ा प्रदेश है और वहां पर 22 करोड़ की आबादी है और हमारे पास 14 लाख सरकारी कर्मचारी हैं, लेकिन हम लोग अपने सभी कर्मचारियों को 7th पे कमीशन दे रहे हैं। लेकिन दुखद है कि अभी तक त्रिपुरा के अंदर त्रिपुरा की सरकार अपने कर्मचारियों को 4th पे कमीशन ही उपलब्ध करा पाई है। पूरी तरह अराजकता को बढ़ावा दे रही है और इस अराजकता को बढ़ावा देने का ही परिणाम है कि कानून व्यवस्था की स्थिति यहाँ पर अत्यंत बदहाल है। यहाँ पर पिछले 1-1.5 वर्ष के दौरान भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं पर लगभग 550 से अधिक बार हमले के मामले सामने आए हैं और 11 भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं की निर्मम हत्या भी त्रिपुरा के अंदर हुई है। यहाँ पर महिलाएं सुरक्षित नहीं हैं। जिस प्रकार से मुख्यमंत्री के स्वयं के क्षेत्र में भी महिलाओं पर भारी अत्याचार हुए हैं।
Meanwhile, the Congress has said that its fortunes will revive in Tripura. Its election in charge in the state said that the party's MLAs and workers leaving is a temporary phase.
In fact, the Congress organization in the state is there. The MLAs have gone. And BJP has suddenly entered here. They didn't have even a single MLA here. They didn't have organization because simply if they are in power at the center, they are trying to put all their pressure in Tripura. It is a temporary phase for Congress. We will revive. Congress party will revive in Tripura. You have seen that Congress party was ruling in the state. We are in the opposition for some time. And revival of Congress is taking place not only here, all over the country.
All right, for more on what's developing in Agartala across Tripura, we've got our correspondent Kriti Mishra joining us from there. Kriti, interesting, of course, to hear what Mr. Manik Sarkar told you in that exclusive interview, saying that there's no anti-incumbency factor, of course. But on the ground, what is it that you're seeing?
Well, Tracy, the socio-political dynamics in Tripura distinguish it just not from north-eastern states, but also from other states in India, because this is the left bastion. The left has enjoyed uninterrupted power in the state since 1978, except for a brief period between 1988 and 1993 when Congress was at the helm of affairs. But right now, the BJP certainly has triggered tremors in this red bastion. So while I was speaking to Manik Sarkar, he completely denied that there is any kind of anti-incumbency. And he said that the biggest development or the biggest achievement for his government was the restoration of peace and stability in the region. But remember, Tracy, there are other issues that are plaguing Tripura, and specifically unemployment is the biggest issue. Remember, we had the economic survey that pointed out that unemployment rate is highest in Tripura, which is 19.7%, followed by Sikkim and Kerala. And certainly there are other issues of corruption. For instance, if Manik Sarkar is the poorest CM of India with cash holding of around 3,500 rupees, there are other cabinet ministers in his government who are roiled in severe corruption, mild corruption charges in chit fund, in Rose Valley chit fund scam. So the BJP certainly is harping on this anti-incumbency and is trying to make inroads to wrest Tripura from the CPM in these elections.
All right.
Tracy?
All right, Kriti. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll come back to you for more updates from the state. Meanwhile, the Chief Electoral Officer of Nagaland has announced that the former Chief Minister Neiphiu Rio has been declared elected unopposed to the Nagaland Assembly as his opponent withdrew his nomination on the last date for withdrawal. The newly formed alliance of the BJP and the Nagaland Democratic Progressive Party had an early breakthrough as Neiphiu Rio won the Northern Angami 2 seat unopposed. Rio was declared the winner after his rivals, Naga People's Front candidate Chupfo Angami and independent candidate Nefrizo Kidetsu, pulled out of the contest on the last day of withdrawal of nominations on Monday. A total of 195 candidates are in the fray for the 27th February Assembly election after the withdrawal of nomination. Ruling Naga People's Front is contesting from 58 seats, the Congress from 18, the BJP from 20, the JDU from 13, the National People's Party from 25, the NCP from 6, the Aam Aadmi Party from 3, the LJP from 2, and the newly floated Nationalist Democratic Progressive Party from 40 seats. There are also 11 independent candidates. The Nagaland Assembly has 60 seats. Voting will take place on Feb 27th and counting will take place on the 3rd of March. In Meghalaya, a total of 372 candidates are in fray for the 27th February Assembly polls after 3 of them withdrew their documents on the last date of withdrawal of nomination on Monday. The 3 candidates who withdrew their candidatures include 2 candidates of the National People's Party and an independent candidate from Nartyang. Rongjeng constituency in West Garo Hills district has the maximum number of candidates, with 11 of them contesting, while the minimum number of candidates is in 3 constituencies, including Ampati, the home constituency of Chief Minister Mukul Sangma. Counting of votes will take place on the 3rd of March. There will be 13 counting centres in all the 11 districts of the state and 2 civil subdivisions. Now, on his last day of poll trail in Karnataka, Congress President Rahul Gandhi visited Gulbarg. His interaction with professionals and business leaders at an event there. While addressing the gathering, he said that BJP is trying to bureaucratize every government institution. He accused the centre of imposing an untested policy in the form of GST.
बहुत अच्छा माहौल है कांग्रेस पार्टी का प्रोफेशनल से भी काफ़ी अच्छी बातचीत हुई और थोड़ा मैंने उनको आज बताया कि बीजेपी हिंदुस्तान के इंस्टीट्यूशंस को कैप्चर करने की कोशिश कर रही है आरएसएस अपने लोगों को हर इंस्टीट्यूशन में डालने की कोशिश कर रही है
4 people have been killed after a fire broke out on a ship under repair at the Cochin Shipyard Limited premises. 11 workers are also reported to be injured after an explosion on board the ONGC vessel Sagar Bhushan that docked at Cochin Shipyard for maintenance works. The incident took place at 10:30 a.m. when the water tank of the ONGC vessel exploded. Several trapped inside the ship were evacuated and rushed to various hospitals in the city. Many of them are in a critical condition. The fire has been brought under control, but an investigation is on to find out the cause of the blast. Cochin Shipyard is a public sector undertaking engaged in shipbuilding and ship repair. In news from Maharashtra, a woman was killed and 9 others injured in a hailstorm that hit the state's Parbhani district. According to officials, the death toll due to hailstorms in the state has risen to 4. With the unexpected and unseasonal rains and hailstorm, farmers suffered heavy losses in several parts of the state. The worst hit districts are Budhana, Amravati and Jalna. The state agriculture minister said that over 1.25 lakh hectares of crops were damaged in 11 districts. The meteorological department has forecast more rains and hailstorms in parts of Vidarbha and Marathwada regions over the next 2 days. Meanwhile, ending a prolonged dry spell, snow lashed several parts of North India. In Jammu and Kashmir, the first major snowfall was witnessed in many areas of the Kashmir Valley this winter. The fresh snowfall has led to the closure of the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway, though, for vehicular traffic due to accumulation of snow around Jawahar Tunnel in Kazigund area. In Himachal Pradesh, the higher areas of Chamba, Kulu and Shimla are also experiencing fresh snowfall. Tourists are enjoying the snowfall at Manali, Solang, Kufri, Chail and Narkanda. The local Met Department has predicted rains and snow at mid and high hills for the next 24 hours. All right, on to sports news and in men's cricket. The 5th one-day international between India and South Africa will be played in Port Elizabeth today. India are leading the 6-match series 3-1. India won the first match in Durban by 6 wickets, the second by 9 wickets and the third by 124 runs, while the hosts won the fourth match by 5 wickets in Johannesburg. The match will begin at 4:30 p.m. The first women's T20 international match between India and South Africa will also take place today at South Africa's Potchefstroom after starting their ICC Women's Championship campaign on a positive note by beating South Africa 2-1 in the 3-match ODI series. India now gearing up to repeat the feat in the 5-match T20 series. Harmanpreet Kaur will lead the team, Smriti Mandhana will be the vice-captain and Mithali Raj will still be part of the squad. The match too will begin at 4:30 p.m. Today is the birth anniversary of renowned poet, political leader and freedom fighter Sarojini Naidu. A function to pay floral tribute to her was held in the Central Hall of Parliament House, where the wall is adorned with her portrait. President Ramnath Kovind took to Twitter and said that tributes to Sarojini Naidu, poet, political leader and pioneer of our women's movement, on her birth anniversary. Sarojini Naidu was born on this day in 1879, also known as the Nightingale of India. Naidu joined the Indian national movement during the Bengal partition in 1905. Her works for the country's independence are notable. Sarojini Naidu was later appointed the governor of the United Provinces, now Uttar Pradesh. And that's all we have for you on the Midday News. Thank you for joining us.